everybody, and welcome to my YouTube channel, Lessons with Guitar Man. My name's Aaron, and I'll be your designated driver here today for this absolutely killer tune, Tennessee Blues, off the great record Skaggs Rice. It's a duet album they recorded back in the 90s, I think it was. Could have been the 2000s, but I think it was in the 90s. And what a fantastic record this is. I recommend everybody go out there and listen to it. This one in particular always caught my ear because Ricky just absolutely tears this song apart. And so I decided to go ahead and learn it, or at least take Ricky's ideas and apply it to the guitar. All of these breaks are more or less what Ricky Skaggs did. They're not exactly perfect, but I tried to catch the flavor of it. Tony doesn't do any breaks on this recording. He just keeps the rhythm, and I think he did an absolutely fantastic job of that. So let's go ahead and dive right in there and see what makes Tennessee Blues work. All right, so what I want to do first with Tennessee Blues is take a quick look at the chord chart. There is a little bit of a funky thing going on in here. If you take a look down in the fourth line there, you see where it says 2-4 and 4-4. It's a very strange. I don't understand why it does this. It took me a little while to figure it out when I was actually just writing the chords for it, that this song kind of hangs an extra little measure there and goes to 2-4 time, and then it jumps back into 4-4 time. I don't know why it does that. I guess that's just how Bill Monroe wrote it. I would highly recommend listening to Tony and Ricky play this before you even attempt to learn this song, because it's very strange, but once you get it in your head, it'll stick in there like a sore thumb. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and move through this tune pretty fast because there are 6 parts. So let's go ahead and start off from the A part at the beginning. So in the first measure, you're going to have a 2, hammer on to 3, and then we're just going to do a down, up on this G note. So like that. So it's okay. And moving on to the second measure, you're going to have a 3, 3, 1, open. 3, 3, 1, open. Followed by a 3 slide to 4, 3. 3, 3 slide to 4, 3. Okay. And that whole measure together is going to sound like so. 1, 2, ready, go. All right, moving on to measure number 3, we're going to have a whole bunch of G notes here, or third frets, and that's going to be down, up, down, up, down, up, 1, open. So it's 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 1, open. And moving on to measure number 4, what we're going to have here is a 3, open, 2, 3, 2, and that's a hammer-on pull-off, then an open G, open D, like so. So it's 3, open, 2, hammer on the 3, pull off to 2, open, open. And measure number 4 is going to sound like so. Okay. And moving on to measure number 5, what you're going to see here in measure number 5 is exactly the same as measure number 1, so there's nothing new to learn there. And measure number 6 is exactly the same as measure number 2, so there's nothing new to learn there. And measure number 7 is exactly the same as measure number 3, so there's nothing new to learn there. And measure number 8 is exactly the same as measure number 4, except for at the very end there, we're going to do an open 1 instead of just an open on the D. Okay? And that whole measure together, or measure number 8, is going to sound like so. 1, 2, ready, go. All right, and moving on to measure number 9, what you're going to have here is a 2, open, 3, open, 3, 2, open. So 2, open, 3, open, 3, 2, open. And slowly, that whole measure together is going to sound like so. So you kind of got to get that little sound in your head, that thing, okay? I know it's a little odd, but that's how it goes. So 1, 2, ready, go. And then moving on to measure number 10 and measure number 11, you're going to see you repeat the same lick over and over again, which is kind of nice because the next 3 measures are the exact same thing. So it's except at the end of measure number 11, you hold on that 2 there for a second. And then moving on to measure number 12, you're going to have 3 opens on the D string or the 4th string, followed by a 3/5. Okay, so open, 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 3/5. All right. Moving on to measure number 13, or the measure that turns into 2/4 time here, you're going to have a 6/5/3. Just like that. All right. And then moving on to measure number 14, we go back into 4/4 time, and you're going to do a 1 slide to 3 and trill on the 3. And basically do 8 notes there, and then do 4 quarter notes on the 15th measure. And those 2 measures together are going to sound like so. 1, 2, ready, go. And moving on to measure number 16, you're going to have a 2 hammer to 3, 2 hammer to 3, then 2 hammer 3, pull off 2, open. And you're going to make that a triplet sound. Triplet and 2 open. So that whole measure together, or measure number 16, is going to sound like so. 1, 2, ready, go. All right, so measure number 17 is going to be an open, 2, 3, 2, open, 2. All right, so let's go ahead and play now through the entire A section slowly and see what that sounds like. So 1, 2, ready, go. So the way that I've written it here is you repeat the A part 2 times and then move on to the B. All right, so moving on to the B part now, I think this section's a little bit easier than the A. And what it does here is it starts with a hammer on from 2 to 3 and does that for 2 measures on 8th notes. Pretty simple. So you just do measure 19 and measure 20 just like that. So okay. And then moving to measure number 21, we're going to move up to the 7th fret and hammer on from the 6th to the 7th fret and do the exact same thing. Okay, and again that's... And then, yep, we're going to do it again and move up to the 10th fret and go... Last, we're going to move up here to the 12th and 13th fret and go. Okay, so that whole string is. And that's how you move through measures 19 through measure number 26, which is half of the B part. And then moving on to measure number 27, what we have to do now is, since we're way up here at the 12th and 13th fret, we're going to come back down here to the 8th fret, kind of thinking out of our little C shape here, or this thing, okay? All right, and so measure number 27, you're going to slide from 8 to 9 and do... which is the same thing as this, except it's up here. And I basically repeat that same thing 3 times over. And then when you get to measure number 30 on the G chord, you do the 8th fret 3 times, followed by 7, 9, 10, 9, 7. So measure number 30 and measure number 31 are going to be 8, 8, 8, followed by a 7, 9, 10, 9, 7. And then moving on to measure number 32, or on the D chord here, you're going to slide from 6 to 7 and do a trill, or 8th notes there, 8 of them, followed by 4 quarter notes. And then what we're going to do when we move on to measure number 34 here, what we're going to do is borrow the whole last 3 measures there from the A section, where we do exactly the same as the last 3 measures of the A section, so there's nothing new to learn there. All right, so let's go ahead now and play through the entire B section slowly and see what that sounds like. So 1, 2, ready, go. Getting ready for that C lick. This is the part in the video where I ask each and every one of you to come on over to my Patreon page, where you can find the music for this, the tab, the backing tracks, the iReel profiles, the guitar profiles, the ending lick, and so much more information by coming on over to my Patreon page at patreon.com/lessonswithguitarman, and help support me to continue to make more content for each and every one of you fellow guitar enthusiasts out there. So some final thoughts on this tune for you. Be very patient with yourself. There's a lot of stuff going on here, a whole lot of notes. It is definitely overwhelming, but if you take it one part at a time and learn that section and move on to the next, and then learn that section and then move on to the next, you'll find that with a little bit of tenacity and a whole lot of practice, you'll be able to get through this one just like I did. And when you're all done with this, you're going to have one heck of a tune that you can bring to your next jam session or gig, or heck, even played as a solo piece out in the world. This is just a really cool song and something I think you're going to get a whole lot out of. All these mandolin riffs applied to the guitar are just so cool, and something you can use in bluegrass songs, no matter what tune it is, across the board. All the traditional songs, these licks you can plug right in there, and there's just a wealth of knowledge for all guitar players to take out of this tune. All right, well, that's a wrap on this tune. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. If you have any questions for me, feel free to send me an email listed below in the description. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, and I'll be seeing you down the